As we enter another difficult budget year, we are again being faced with significant challenges. And even though over the last 5 years this legislature has managed to reduce the county tax rate in each of those years, this year is posing some challenges that we have not been faced with as long as I can remember. So we thought it would be an opportune time to talk about one of those expenses that will have an impact on our budget. As we prepare the 2011 budget, you will hear a lot of discussion regarding county spending. County spending has a relationship, a direct relationship, with state-mandated expenses. And I wanted to talk about one of those significant expenses tonight for a few minutes. I want to talk about our pension fund contributions. As most of us know, the New York State Comptroller manages the New York State Pension Fund. All the employees of the county are in that fund. Also, every year, annually, the New York State Comptroller sends the county taxpayers a bill for our contribution to the pension fund. Now, I realize this is a rudimentary explanation, but it's my understanding that the contribution is determined by taking an actuarial analysis of future obligations, determining how much money needs to be in that fund to fund those obligations, and that determines essentially what we pay and what the taxpayers are asked to pay. It's also my understanding that two of the factors that drive our pension costs are the number of county employees and the performance of the pension fund in the market. Now, the first thing I wanted to talk about are the expenses themselves. As you can see from the graph and the chart, in 2001, our New York State retirement contribution was $1.2 million, or 2% of our wages and salaries for our county employees. That grew significantly over the next several years to $7.8 million in 2006. We were given a brief reprieve in 2009 where the contribution was $4.8 million, but this represented 7% of wages. And I'm going to talk about that in a minute, how it is that that's changing. In 2010, we saw an increase from $4.8 million to $8.5 million, a $3.7 million increase, or an increase of about 50%. Obviously, it's very difficult to budget a 50% increase in an expense that's this large. But even more telling than the increase in the amount is that in 2010, our pension fund contribution represented 12% of wages and salary. And $8.5 million is about 12% of what we paid total in wages. In 2011, it's projected that this is going to grow again to $10 million and will now be 14% of salary and wages. Now, the reason that we wanted to reference the percentage to wages is because, as I mentioned, one of the factors that drives pension costs is the number of employees. And it would stand to reason that if we have fewer employees, we would expect over a long period of time our pension contributions to go down, because we appreciate that there will be fluctuations in the market. We appreciate that the pension fund contribution really is driven by the performance of that fund in the market. But over the long term, we would expect to see a direct relationship between the number of county employees and our pension fund contribution. But shockingly, it isn't even close. We have seen in 2001, we had approximately 1,893 employees in Niagara County. 1,703 full-time, 190 part-time. By 2008, we'd seen a reduction to approximately 1,544, which is an 18% reduction in the workforce. We had a minor adjustment, as most of you know. Over the last year or two, there were some mandated positions that we were required to fill. However, our current numbers, as I understand it, are approximately 1,588 full and part-time employees, which is approximately a 16% reduction in the size of county government and the workforce from 2001 to the present time. However, during the time that we've seen a 16% reduction in the number of employees, we have seen an increase in our pension fund contribution of about 800%, from $1.2 million to $10 million over the course of about 9 or 10 years. Legislator Syracuse and I have sponsored a resolution tonight that asks the Comptroller for a couple things. We're asking Mr. DiNapoli to, one, provide us with some temporary relief. We're asking that for the next couple years, as we are faced with these challenges with our budget, that the Comptroller's office hold the contribution levels at the 2009 level, which is $4.8 million. Or in the alternative, we are asking that he cap pension contributions at a specific level of a percentage of wages, so that we can it would make it easier for us to budget in the future. And we are asking that Mr. DiNapoli cap our pension fund contribution at 2% of wages, and that he continue that going forward so that we can address this expense, we can plan for this expense. And finally, to put this in perspective, our pension fund contribution for 2011 will be approximately 1/7 of the entire county property tax levy. Thanks.
Thank you, Legislator Updegrove, for that update on a serious problem for this county and all the counties, believe me.